Oh, we are live.
Great.
Good morning, everybody.
TGIF. Good oldie goodie. I couldn't think of a good trendy intro like you did, Ben. Tiger King.
I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll figure something out for Monday.
I can't see if people are here.
Yep, we got 11 people here so far.
Oh my God. Everyone's super punctual. Hello, Angela. Hi, everybody. Woo! Good morning, Vancouver people. It is sunny. It is officially summer since yesterday in Vancouver. I'm sorry to everyone that's not in Vancouver. It's just really nice here.
Yeah, but it's going to rain next week.
Ben.
Which I'm kind of sad about.
We'll be fine.
We've had a few weeks of no rain, and it's been incredible.
Sweet, folks. Well, thanks for joining. I want to just jump right in because we've got a lot to cover today. We're going to get into more of the technical skills behind all this, so it gets pretty gritty. Let's do this. I'm glad you're here. Stay with us. It's going to get good. This is where we are. We've covered the basics. We got set up with tools. We made the plan. And then today we're going to use some keyword mining techniques to narrow down topics and then home in on actually developing one piece of content. And this procedure today, this initial procedure is the beginning of on-page SEO. So you're going to build some of those techniques. Next week, we're going to take the article further and we're going to cover off some more in-depth on-page SEO and UX stuff. And we're going to get the post live, promote it. We're going to learn how to track it. And just remember the bonus session, super lucky to have Stephen Ladick with us on Monday. He's just a great person. I rehearsed with him yesterday. I got so much out of just the rehearsal of his presentation. It's so, so good. I highly recommend it. In fact, we're just opening up the permissions on the webinar for anybody. So if you have any friends, anybody who wants to get into podcasting at all, or honestly get into just any type of creative venture, he is an entrepreneur. He is completely worth listening to, and he is very legit, very useful. So I've dropped the link there. Share it around as much as possible. Invites coming soon for the rest of that stuff, though. So before we get rolling, just want to check in. A couple brave people shared their content plans on Mighty Networks. So I have pulled them up here. I'd like to take a peek at them. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. Just kind of check in and get our brains rolling. One that I love is from John. Make this big. Let's no, you get the idea. Can you kind of see it? It's kind of small.
No. Zoom in.
Plus. I don't know if that works on Excel.
Yeah,
Do I have to actually click? Zoom.
There we go.
200%. Woo! Okay.
That's good.
So John's got this really cool thing going on with his partner. They are doing this charity called In Their Hands, and it's for young women to kind of take control of their own sexual health. So this is a cool initiative. It's a real life project, so I picked it. And you can see here, a lot of the goals are really PR related. There's some stuff like fundraising goals, publicity, social shares. So I think that just looking at this content plan right off the bat, something that stands out is the type of content that he's selected to move forward with. And you can tell that there's a lot of this really catchy viral stuff. So viral meaning, people like it travels through shares rather than just people finding it by searching online. So he's got like games. That's a really good idea. Trends, stats. People love sharing data. They love looking at graphs, opinions, case studies, myths, a current event, a Q&A with the founder. Like all this stuff is, I would say, really on point in terms of the type of content really is going to help get towards the goal. I don't know if anybody's got any comments. Yeah, Angela says this is great. I think it is too. That's why I picked it. And I really hope that after we're done with these 2 weeks, John, if you want to keep going with some mentorship, like this type of initiative would be a really cool thing to hook you up with, one of our team and give you that ongoing mentorship to make some of these other ideas come to life. I think that's really cool. And then another content plan that I really liked. Let me pull it up here. Where's my? It is. No, not that one. This one. I like this one. It's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. This is for a distillery. This is Chanel's. It's content for Blue Light Gin, which, let's zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So this is for a distillery. It's different from what we do on my team because it's a real business, a physical business that relies on physical customers in a physical space. So that's a whole different business challenge because, the goals specifically with your web content are a little bit harder to make happen in real life, So I think that one thing that stood out to me on this plan is how some of the goals are to have engaged customers and how you're going to use content to keep this like little tribe, this people who just are kind of these foodie mixology people engaged with your brand. So I thought that was a cool position. I think that the titles really reflect that. Like top 5 escapist books from your favorite bartenders. Like this clearly is trying to speak to a very niche tribe who just loves to be, talking about like spirits and mixing. And I don't even know that. I don't know this stuff. I'm not cool, but like this gin versus vodka, a love story. I know, like if I was a bar manager, I would want to read that. Like this is definitely something that's very niche. I thought these were fun. They had a nice tone. I think that they capture that kind of quirky, jokey vibe that a lot of craft brewery type things go for. So I thought that was really cool. I like this plan. Yeah, those are really good examples. There's tons of good content plans. I'm impressed. I am very impressed. And on that note, I have a quick poll, just looking at that. Let me bring my slides back up for you.
I'll start it.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, so we just wanted to, obviously, it's a bunch of work pulling that together. I'd love to know actually in the chat how long people spent on it. It'd be interesting to know how long you guys all spent on it. But yeah, we want to know how useful you actually found it. So please put your votes in. We'd love to know, was this good? Was it not good? Was it kind of meh? Give us your feedback. And we will, overall, it's looking like people found it reasonably positive.
Yay. With
half the votes in, most people are saying it was highly valuable. So that's good.
Okay, good. Because I know when you're laying it all out in theory, it's, I don't know, sometimes you're just like, why am I doing this? That's good. Okay, cool. Just trying to make sure it's useful. Let me bring up my notes here so we can keep rolling. Do you see a blank screen right now?
No, we're back to TGIF. We are slide 1.
Okay. I think I have to re-get my notes because it's not hooked up. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. Let's catch up. Sweet. Great. Check in. All righty. So up until now, we were working with this part of the content plan, and we figured out, the stuff we just went over, the site, the type, the goals, purpose, all that. And now there's this middle area in your content plans, you probably noticed, and that's really just there for your reference. This whole sheet is based on what we use to manage content. And because we process a lot of volume, we need to keep track of things like the URLs, the web address where it lives, once they're published, links to documents where we keep briefs and the article drafts, the status of the piece, the date that we're publishing it or that it did publish, and the person who's writing it. So how you use these spaces is really up to you. We find it useful. Maybe you like a task board or something for managing that. But if you're in charge of producing a stash of content in the future, I think it'll help. It should evolve over time, though. The things that we keep in this spreadsheet have definitely changed as we find better ways to manage production. So this section is really just for your use, and we're going to leave it alone for the rest of the class. But it's this section on the far right that we're going to focus on today, which is keyword data. So today we're going to do keyword research to help us understand the best topic to move forward with and define what goes on the page using data. And we're also going to give our content a unique angle and good structure that's going to help with SEO. And we'll be applying these techniques and tools for a blog post that you're working on now. But after the bootcamp, you can really apply this approach to a lot of different other types of content as well. So the idea here is that, not all of our ideas are winners, but some of them are gold, and we've got to follow those veins, and we've got to mine for that gold. So today we are going to go keyword mining. We're going to talk about what that is, and we're going to walk through the entire process of how to do that using Moz. Then we're going to have a super fun quiz. It's going to test your knowledge of what we went over. It's going to be really good. Then we're going to set up a brief, and we're going to Evel Knievel this. We're going to walk through it live. Haven't done it yet or ever. So this is going to be a good session. Let's mine for some great ideas. Time to prioritize the content plan. Why do keyword mining in the first place? So we started with those topic ideas, and we title brainstormed, and that was more of our top-down stuff. Didn't really know what we were doing. We just know that we wanted to get something done. So how do we know if these ideas are any good? Well, remember this little graphic. It shows us that we want to produce content that is at the intersection of what people want and also what we want to tell them. But there's a little more to the story. We also want to make sure that what we're producing has a good chance to perform well in search. Now, I will caveat this. There's stuff like a couple of John's pieces, for example, that are really more PR oriented. That stuff is really designed to get shared among people, and you may not care as much about whether or not it ranks. But I still do think that overall, it's a good idea to keep in mind what's going to help your site be visible to people in organic search, because that is how people find information.
Yeah, and I think it's worth when we right at the beginning, we talked about the kind of the different role of content, and some things that we produce are focused on, getting organic traffic. And we're focusing on that because it's something that you are more in control of. If we're trying to create content that, and I know I've noticed on John's, there were things like the idea was to try and get people to share the content. So like creating highly shareable content is another tactic, and it is a good, useful thing to do. Ways that we've done this in the past are doing things like creating a list of the 100 best, whoever they might be, digital project managers or e-commerce experts. And so we create this list of 100 people, we showcase them, we highlight them, then we tell them that we highlighted them, and then they share the post. Or we do the same with a list of books or podcasts. So we create content that's designed to be enjoyed or by the people who we are featuring, and then they then share it. So that is another tactic to get traffic to the site, to get awareness. But what we're focusing on here is, what will perform well in search. But other aspects are stuff that's highly shareable, or stuff that will attract PR attention. So I know another thing that someone who I've been working with, they launched a competition where they were giving $500 for people who had to do it was an Instagram competition that everyone had to take a picture of what their quarantine looked like, and it was really kind of arty photography competition. That was highly PRable because everyone was interested in pictures of quarantine that were interesting. So there's different angles of looking at this, but we're focusing on what will perform well in search, because those other things that I've just been talking about are harder to control. And this is a good foundational thing that you can be doing to slowly build up your traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. So just quick checkpoint. Does all that make sense? We're going to walk through a pretty technical process. So I just want to double check on these high level ideas. Just see if there's any. I know that Alyssa, you've got a question in the Q&A, and I think we'll just chat about that at the end, because we may kind of answer that as we go. Cool. Cool. All right. So just let us know. Let us know. All righty. So keyword mining, we know why we're doing it, but where do we get the data? We've found these good ideas for content, maybe not necessarily a good keyword. How do we know? So to be completely transparent with you, I've never used Moz before. I'm a huge Ahrefs fan. Ahrefs is another keyword research tool. There's another industry standard, SEMrush. And also Ubersuggest is a pretty new tool, but the folks behind it are keen beans. So that's another good one. But since we're doing this hands-on, we just decided to use Moz because it has that free 30-day trial. So we'll use that. But if you have other tools, by all means, use them. And you will get different data. We have kind of inconsistent data because we've got our stuff from Ahrefs. So you will find discrepancies, but in general, these are all really useful, and they all tell you some good estimations that'll help you make decisions about keywords. They're going to give you a whole bunch of ways that you can sort and filter keywords. This is the little widget thingy on Moz. So lots of stuff here. How do you make use of these features? What should you be looking for? What's the main idea? So you don't need to use all the features. For our purposes, we're really just using these tools to understand the main idea behind keyword mining. So we're going to focus on volume, difficulty, and click-through rate. So I'm going to show you why. Volume. That is the rough number that tells me how much search demand there is organically for a topic. So it's not quite enough to make a decision about whether or not to pursue a keyword, but it just matters because I want to make sure that there's at least some demand for what I'm making. So the more searches, theoretically, the more people who would see my content. These are usually very rough estimations that keyword tools scrape from Google Search Console. Then there's keyword difficulty, or just KD, or difficulty. This is a number from 1 to 100, and it tells you how difficult it is to rank on the first page of the search engine page results page, SERP. We just say SERP. The page of Google, the results page. It tells you how difficult it is to rank on that first page or how competitive it is. So a 0 is really easy, and a 100 is insanely difficult. So easy versus difficult, what does that mean? Really, it means if it's easy, I need very, very few links to my website in order to start ranking for that keyword. And if it's difficult, I need lots and lots and lots of links to rank for that keyword. And just knowing a little to calibrate ourselves, it's a logarithmic scale usually. So that means that the difference between like a 0 and 10 isn't terrible, but the number of links you'd need to bump yourself between like a 50 and a 60 is way, way more. So it is important to factor in how difficult it will be to rank. If we choose something that's difficult, we're going to have to put in a lot of effort to build links and undertake a lot of other like off-page SEO, website health tactics. So often it's better to choose something easy, especially if your website's new, because you'll just need fewer links to start seeing some results.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying as well as there's the number of links, and then there's also the quality of links. So it's one thing to, it's quality and quantity. So for example, if you get a couple of links from some really strong websites that have a high authority, so they have a high rank, those are much more powerful than to have 20, 30 links from a lower ranked website. So it's the number of links that contributes to a strong backlink profile, and it's the quality of those links as well. So when we're assessing the competition, we're looking for how many links and the quality of those links, because those both contribute to how competitive that keyword is.
Through that. And then finally, volume, keyword difficulty, click-through rate. click-through rate is the percentage, and it shows how many searches actually result in someone choosing one of the search results, clicking on it. So I'm going to show you why this is important to factor in. Back in the day, you search on Google, it just like gave you this list of web pages you could visit. That's organic results. Nobody paid to be there. Now, Google not only sells advertised positions, but it also shows like a whole bunch of other things that are called SERP features. So when I search for what is Tiger King about, I see a bunch of things that are not organic results. There's a knowledge card at the top. There's a knowledge panel on the side. There's a little drop-down list of related questions. So all this stuff is scraped off the web and packaged into these little nuggets by Google. And so sometimes, I'm sure you know this, sometimes you search for something, you see what you need right there on the page, and you don't click at all. That's a zero-click search. Another time that you might have a zero-click search is if you search for something and then you realize like, oh yeah, actually no, I probably should try different words. None of these are right. That would mean you haven't clicked on any results, so that's also a zero-click search. So to summarize, just knowing the sheer volume isn't enough. It's not the whole picture. And volume tells you that rough number. It's kind of this top of the funnel number. It just tells you how much demand there is in general, but you don't get all that volume because nothing has 100% click-through. Some of it drops off. So the click-through rate helps you understand how much of that volume is actually traffic to the organic results like yours. And then not all that organic traffic goes to your website. So the keyword difficulty helps you understand how hard it would be to put your website up in those results and make some of that traffic your traffic. So the main idea is just this. You want a keyword lots of people are searching for, easy to rank for, that people actually click on. Is this making sense?
This is where it's getting slightly technical.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you these like hard and fast rules, and then we're just gonna throw them in. Okay, let's do this, folks. Hi ho, let's go mining. Okay, we're gonna follow this process. This is gonna be our walkthrough. I'm not gonna read all of this out because we're gonna do all of this in a minute here. But the main idea is find keywords, find better keywords, put them in a list, and find the best. Here we go. Number one, we're gonna pick a topic to analyze. Any topic, I don't know. I just went with customer experience for the CX lead. It's just general. You can just pull whatever you want off your content plan or off of a title. It'll work best though if you keep it to just a few words, like the main idea. Just think of the way that someone would type it into Google and go from there. So next, I'm gonna search for it in Moz. So here I am, I'm putting the word customer experience into the keyword suggestion tool. So in this tool, to get all the related keywords, we have to take the results. I think it's easiest if you add them to a new keyword list. So I've just showed you where that is on the lower right-hand corner. I'm gonna add to a keyword list, and then I get walked through the process of creating this new list and giving it a name. And then once I add it, I get this little green success pop-up. So I'll click on that, and then I can see all the keywords in my list. I did it that way. I don't know this tool, so you might find a better way as you play around, but that worked for me. So now I already have 10 ideas in my content plan, so I'm actually gonna just repeat that same process and search for most of those topics so I can record the volume, difficulty, and click-through rate for each keyword. And I might not have like a direct correlation between my initial idea for a title and the actual keyword that I discover, but you should definitely record the keyword that you find and then the volume, difficulty, and click-through rate. Ben and I both like to do this on a separate tab. It gets super messy, so I've opened up an extra tab in my little work in progress area because you start finding all these other good keywords. It's like a kid in a candy store. You're like, what if I did that? What if I did that? So it's a good idea to just keep writing them down. Like when you find good ones, put the keyword in, put the volume there, just make a mess. Eric's asking, how long do you estimate you'd plan to spend on this in a workday? Oh, you got to stop me. You got to stop me. You got to time box this because otherwise it's like you go down a rabbit hole my friend. You really do.
But yeah, you do go down a rabbit hole, but I think normally the time is never wasted. So you can you just need to do just enough work to get to the point where you're able to write a brief, which we're coming to in a minute. But there is an endless amount of things that you could write about and research. So that's why Sarah's saying time boxing it is super helpful, because we just want to get to the point where we have something that's good enough, that's worth writing about. But yeah, as you're digging into your topic areas and finding more about it and discovering what people are asking, discovering longer tail keywords, like we're talking about, just writing what is customer experience or customer experience, and finding, you know, the core parts of that topic, that we can start researching longer tail stuff. And as you go through this process, you'll discover new things, and you can go in all kinds of different directions. So for maybe for an average post, maybe you'd spend half an hour to an hour on it, maybe. But what you're doing is all that information you're gathering, if you collect it, you could just know that once you found a good keyword, that's why we kind of talk about it like mining. Once we found a little nugget, we want to keep track of it, because we might not be appropriate for that article or post. But if you suddenly discover something with high volume, low difficulty, high click-through rate, we want to make note of that. And we just kind of collect it in our little pot.
Yeah, and the idea here is really just kind of keep going. Just keep mining around. Like, make a nice list. Here's my list. I just started to record in my work in progress area. Oh, that's my roommate making breakfast, in case you can't hear that. So I just letting you know that there's a column here called expected traffic. So if your formulas aren't working, all you have to know is expected traffic takes volume times the clicks, the CPS. So if your formula is not working, you just need to set up that multiply thingy, and then it'll go. And that's a more realistic idea of what the traffic you could actually expect to your post. So that's in there for us. So you want to find all that data for what you're interested in, but as Ben said, you want to poke around and get some better ones that you didn't know about and record those as well. So this is more the art form. It's less of a science. For people who are thinking about physical businesses, I encourage you to look at some local results. So look at your city name or your country name if it's really small. Try to figure out if you should make a post maybe for local results, like, ice cream in Vancouver. So it'll be low volume, but obviously very, very target audience. So play around with the filters. For example, there's the volume filter that you can select a range of volumes. You can use the drop down under difficulty to look at different levels of difficulty. You can also use the click-through rate filter to look at, I would advise high click-through rate, but also take a peek at the low ones and see if you can find patterns. So definitely play with the other features, but those three filters are going to be super useful. So here's an example. I set my volume filter, I set my difficulty filter, and I found this one, customer experience quotes. It's not super great volume, 207 a month. It's medium difficulty. It's like 34 KD, would need like 40 links, referring domains. So it's an undertaking. It's not terrible. And then the click-through rate is all right, like 64% ends in a click. It's very average. So it's not stellar, but I do think that my audience of customer experience people are interested. They do want inspirational quotes. I think it's relevant, so I'm going to record it. And that's because I want to follow the vein. You got to find the good keywords, pursue it, keep digging for gold, see if you can find something similar that's better. You might be surprised. You might even get good business ideas. So keep following those veins. So I clicked on a little searchy window thing for customer experience quotes, and then you get this overview. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to check out the SERP analysis. That shows me what's currently ranking. So I just use this to understand, like, is my interpretation of this word what Google thinks this word means? Is it ranking content that I think makes sense? Sometimes it won't. And we also, you can pay attention to the priority thing. A lot of keyword tools have a proprietary metric that like combines a bunch of factors to tell you how good of an idea it is. I'll leave it up to you to figure out if that's going to work for you. We're getting that number in a very manual way. We're also considering a lot of business aspects behind content. So I would never take their proprietary metric as the end all be all of yes, make it, or no, don't, because there's a lot more to factor in. But it's a good indicator. It's a good indicator.
Yeah. And Channel, is that what you meant by priority rating? Because I think this priority rating is really dangerous because it can make you think, oh, I should write about this then because it's priority 54. That looks pretty good. But yeah, I think it's so important that we consider the search intent, why someone will be looking for a customer experience quote, and then how that aligns with our business goals. That's why that work we did previously, we can't forget that. Why are we writing about this? Well, we've got a business goal that we need to achieve, and how's writing about customer experience quotes going to advance that goal? So it's priority. They're looking at the priority just in isolation of our goals, and we need to layer on our goals. And so I think and also the purpose of the content, which is we talked about last time as well. So it's a kind of false metric. So just be really careful.
Yeah, don't worry about the difference between a 50 and a 52. Maybe if you see a 0 and a 70, that's a good push in one direction or the other. Yeah. We'll go over a couple of checkpoints too that kind of help you check off the business value and logistical value of logistical whatever feasibility later on as well. But for now, I just say we're going to get all the keywords on there. And once you have a good list, I don't know, 10, 50, whatever you want, we're going to sort through them and find the best ones. So I got to make these numbers useful. Question for you now. If you were going to choose one keyword for the CX lead, which one would you choose? Here, can you see the slide? Or can you only see the poll? Wait, can you make the poll go away? Because there's like a slide that, okay, these are the top 10 in terms of traffic. So really quick, I just want you to kind of take a peek, look at the KD, check out the volume, check out the traffic, look at the topics. Yeah, what one would you pick?
This is where conditional formatting as well can be super useful, because you can use conditional formatting in your spreadsheet to highlight the high numbers and the low numbers in each column, and use filters as well. So trying to do this without filters or conditional formatting is a bit tricky.
Are you ready? Can you make the poll be visible?
Yeah. But yeah, so we're looking at how we want high volume, we want low keyword difficulty, we want high relevance, we want high expected traffic. What would you choose? Ta-da!
Is the poll going?
I think so. Is it? Can anyone tell us? Is it working? Oh, no poll. Oh, great.
Great.
Oh no, I think it is. Is it? Oh no, it's there.
Oh, maybe you need to click on it.
Maybe you need to click on it in polls in the thing on the by this chat at the top.
There's a menu in it.
We get there.
It's hiding in there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, people found it. It's working. Oh, it says 15 responses. What?
Oh
no, it's 4. It says 4. 5. There we go. You're finding it. You're finding it. Get your votes in. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Let's give you a few, maybe like 10 more seconds.
There isn't. We should say as well, there isn't a wrong answer here. So you're not going to get this wrong if you are nervous about voting. I can see only like half the people have actually voted. There is not a wrong answer here. This is just a question of preference, priority. It's guesswork. It's an art. You could go for something that you think is super hard, but actually you do a stellar job on, and it's worth it, right? So I can see a couple of people are voting for like what is design thinking. Obviously, the estimated, that the potential upside for that is super high with that expected traffic, but it is hard. It's going to be super hard to rank for.
Hard, but good, like a pillar topic, as we'll cover in a minute. Like,
yeah,
really good potential, cycling it and all that. Cool.
Okay.
What if I close the poll? Does it show the results?
I don't know. Let's see. Can anyone see anything? We just closed it. We only got half the people voting.
Well, you know what happened? Polls. Close. Show results. I don't know how. Well, here's what I'll tell you. Over 50% of people voted for what is CX. We got a vote on what is user experience design. It's kind of in the middle there. Really high difficulty. Customer feedback, we've got a vote. So it's up there, but it's not quite as difficult. We've got what is design thinking. 2 people voted for that. Really high, the highest expected traffic. So those are the most popular topics. I'm going to tell you in a minute what I went with, but for now, let us move forward. I want to know and think about, you're welcome to put this in the chat as we go, like what did you consider most? What's your like number one rationale for why you picked that? So while you're thinking, I'm going to go over a few things. Like, did you go back to those main factors? Did you care most about your volume or traffic or low keyword difficulty, maybe the best click-through rate? Maybe you found yourself automatically kind of going for the highest volume, and then you're like, wait a minute. Once you see the keyword, you're like, I'm not as sure. And you're questioning, like, is that something people want? Is this something I want to write about? Like, do I even know what this is? Maybe you started considering other things. So it's worth considering why you made that decision and the things that you automatically just started factoring in. So it kind of brings us to this weird point of how do you pick really good keywords? And throughout this entire process, even from the very first time we think about a title, we're running the should I make this test in the back of our minds. So here's the should I make this test. It's I should make this if people need this. The people who I want in my tribe need this. They'll enjoy this. The search intent of that keyword makes sense with my goal for the piece. I can rank for it. I haven't made it already. It's innovative. It's unique. I can cover the topic effectively. It has a clear goal. Search intent matches my goal. That's on there twice. It's very important. It will age well. It can be recycled. Yeah, we did a little surgery on this list, guys. It's a work in progress. So this is really where the art behind keyword mining comes in. It really becomes more of like a personality and a business question and a logistics question. It goes beyond the raw data in order to get that nice tight list of top things that you want to move forward with. So the only reason I would really put a keyword onto my plan is because I think it gets a passing grade on the should I make this test. Passing grade is subjective. We'll get to that in a minute. Checkpoint, let us know if this is making sense. Please let us know in the comments. I'm going to move forward from the keyword mining process into setting up a brief. So it looks like we're good. It looks like we're not having... Just want to see if we have any like discussions that we want to have here before we move on.
One yes, that's good. It makes sense to.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sorry. Moving. I read slowly. All right. Let us talk about setting up a.
On the website healthstatus.com.
Oh, that's Google. What did you say?
I said okay, and that trigger for.
Stop triggering my Google.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's dig into this. I'll talk about what I chose and why, and then we'll walk through this whole briefing situation. We're going to set up a brief. I know that people have different creative ways of working, but I think that a brief is just a really good conceptual framework to use, even if you're not like giving a brief to someone else to work on. I think it's a good checkpoint for yourself just to structure your thoughts. And once you start writing, you'll be grateful that you have some structure to work with. This brief is just, honestly, we use a one-page Word document. We just do all of our stuff in Google Docs. So this is a template. If you're interested in using it in the future, you just make a copy of it so you've got it on hand. This is part of your handouts. So this is the process that works well for us. Use it and then change it. Do whatever works for you. We're gonna now, this is the hard part, everybody. I'm gonna do this process live. I've never done this before. So let's see if this works. We're gonna pick the keyword, refine the goal, refine the purpose. We're gonna dig around for other keywords, pull in some resources. This is what I do when I prepare a brief for a writer. So dun, 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 it's build a brief time. People of all ages and from all over the world, I will now build a brief before your very eyes. And the example will be available to you as a handout, so you can refer back to it as you like. Keyword I went for. I'm going with, what is CX? The popular one. I did this for a few reasons. First of all, it's a good choice in terms of expected traffic. It's just solid. It's pretty high considering that the keyword difficulty is only 13. There's some higher traffic options, but those are really hard. And I know my website. I know I don't have enough links to rank for that for quite some time. I like instant gratification, so went with that. Also, a couple things on the should I make it test, which really mattered. It's not perfect, but it does cover a lot of bases. Based on sheer volume, I think people do need this. I'm not really sure if a customer experience professional would really be searching for what is CX. And that's like a major concern, and it is reason enough not to move forward with it. I really don't know if they would enjoy it. I'm not sure that the search intent of that person would really match what my business goal overall, which is building a CX community. So keep that in mind. I did not check this off. I can rank for it. 13 is easy. KD of 13, I can do it. I haven't already made it. I don't think it's innovative or unique. It's very basic. It's very overview. I do think I can cover the topic effectively and fully. I do have a clear goal. It's to help my site rank for CX topics in general, which I'll get to. And because it's broad, I think it will age well. It's pretty evergreen. And I know that it can be recycled. Specifically, it's good pillar content. And that means that subbed post in my website and then link out to the other posts from it. This is a good pillar topic. And that type of structure where you have a main thing and like lots of little branches coming straight from that core area is something that search engines really like because it saves their crawl budget. They have to do less like looping around on your site to find things. So that is an important point. So tell me, like looking at this, does it pass the test? I mean, it's, as Ben likes to say, it's a sliding scale.
Yeah, I think this is super challenging, and this is why, like, we've created this as a checklist, but these things aren't really binary. Like, if you go back, Sarah, to that list, for I mean, you checked off people need this, but and did that as a kind of a yes no, but it's kind of a well, yeah, kind of, sort of. And maybe the people in your tribe do need this or want it. If they're beginning their customer experience journey, they want to get into customer experience, maybe having an awareness, the first website that they ever went to being the CX lead, having a great article on that, maybe they do. So I think it's good to have a checklist, but also think of this as a sliding scale. Maybe we could even in future give yourself points out of 5 or something. But so much of this is subjective, and this is as much art as it is science. So there is no right or wrong answer. And until you try and write it and then try to get it to rank and then see what happens with the traffic, you don't know. And even once you have published it and got traffic, you then can stop ranking for it because someone else produces something better, or Google suddenly decides that actually your post isn't so good after all. So, hey, welcome to the rodeo.
Woo! Yeah, welcome to the rodeo. And on that note, fine art of building a brief based on keywords. So I'm going to walk you through this process right now. I've auto-filled a bit of information here on my brief on the left with stuff from my content plan. I went with the title, What is CX? Probably not what you thought. It's as good as it's going to get for now. Okay, then I've left blank my meta description and my slug. That's more SEO stuff. We're going to get to that later. But I will put my focus keyword on here. That's what is CX. And I've also included my goal, which is to get search traffic and use this as a pillar content for the rest of my site. And my purpose in this is to help people learn what CX is and its main parts. So while I don't think this purpose really connects with my core audience value, the person looking for it. So I have a little note in here, a way that I like to list out purpose is it could be someone's lack of curiosity. So this is also frame your purpose and get your ideas flowing. So up at the, I want to make sure that I have a
Your screen sharing has been disconnected.
Has my screen sharing been disconnected? Ben, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm muted.
Okay,
yes, it's connected. You were also getting really choppy, so I don't know if it just abandoned your screen.
Oh, am I back?
Well, you are, yeah, but your screen isn't.
It says it's loading. No, this is always what happens when you do something live. Ugh. It is.
Well,
it shows me that it's loading. Come on.
Give it a second. Maybe I'll disappear. Maybe that'll help. I'm turning my camera off. Maybe you turn your camera off as well. As beautiful as you are.
Okay, well, I'll turn my camera off. Well, I can't. It's frozen. Great.
Well, at least everybody knows this is genuinely live.
Yeah, this is live.
It doesn't get much more live.
Camera off. I might have to, if this doesn't work, I might have to just like screen record myself doing it and send a quick little video of it later.
So you clicked on present slides and it's just not doing anything?
Yeah, I clicked share my screen. It says bigmarker.com is sharing my screen, but it's just not loading for some reason. Like it's not loading a big marker. I'll stop sharing and then reshare. Oh, it's really slowing down.
What's Pete doing?
Yeah, Pete. It's probably downloading torrents of who knows what. I just clicked share screen again. Let's see if we can get it back. This is a good time to have a bathroom break, everyone. Get that coffee. Okay, now it just shows my face.
Let me see.
Can you share yours, maybe?
Well, I could, but I haven't got this.
Oh, yeah, true. You don't have
Got it, have I? Oh, guys, I'm sorry for this commercial break.
I'm sure
Anyone?
you
Yeah. Any show and tell that anyone wants to do? Apart from Tiger King, what's everyone been watching?
I don't want to. Do you think I should leave and come back? I don't know if I should.
Yeah, try it.
Oh gosh.
Do it. Bye.
Okay.
I'm on just to make everybody feel comfortable while Sarah disappears. Yes. So, Jonathan, yes, please tell us what you have been doing. How do I do this? Yes, a puppy. Great. Let's see your puppy. I hope this is appropriate. Things could go from bad to worse. So, can I make you a presenter? Let's see what happens. Yeah, Eric, in terms of those ranges, it totally depends on your on your topic. Here we go. Puppy's coming while I answer this question. It totally depends on the topic area, how competitive it is. So I would never say something hard and fast. Don't write about it or do write about it. Woof. Oh, we can't hear you, Jonathan, for some reason. But we can see a dog. There you go. Yeah, so in terms of, oh man, there is no, it's all relative, right? So it depends, Phil, on the topic area. With some topics, you'll get lucky, and just this comes back to that law of large numbers. For some topics, you'll be able to, there will be stacks of search volume, but actually for something like customer experience, like the search volumes aren't that high. Like if we compared that to something else like project management, for example, we'll see like way more volume and way more numbers. So it's all relative. So yeah, customer experience, it's a smaller niche. So the numbers aren't going to be as high. So yeah, it's all totally relative. I hope that helps.
I'm back. Are we good?
You're back
Okay,
and you're
cool.
working.
All right.
I've got to go in 7 minutes.
Let's finish this. 7 minutes. All right. We're fine. All right. So what I want to do right now is I have my main keyword, but I want to find other keywords and just dig around. So I'm looking at the what is CX here in the search, and I just see this list of things. I'm going to read this out too in case it's a bit small. But I've got what is CX? What is CX Twitch? What is CX customer experience? What is CX technology? What is CX in medical terms? Okay, right now I'm going to stop. This tells me that CX is a little bit of a conflated term. People use CX to describe lots of things. And if I just target what is CX, I might not be actually targeting that good of a keyword. Something to consider is that a lot of the volume that's searching for CX could be searching for like, what is CX medical equipment or something like that. They're totally unrelated. So if I do decide to move forward with this piece, I have to keep in mind that I'm probably not going to get the traffic that I thought I was going to get. A lot of that's probably totally irrelevant. I do still want to move forward with it though. So because I think it's good pillar content. I'm going to choose keywords like CX customer experience, maybe CX abbreviation, CX design, CX strategy. I'll include those. I'll definitely include what is customer experience. Customer experience strategy. Oh, here's one. Customer experience strategy template. People are searching for that. That's kind of cool. That'd be a cool resource to provide. Unfortunately, I don't think that's in the scope of my piece. Someone that's searching has the search intent of what is CX, like just what is customer experience, is highly unlikely to be actively interested in a template. It's like two different groups. And I know that in my piece, I'm not going to adequately cover an entire thing about a template. So while it might be a good keyword that has some volume, I'm leaving out. That would be something I'll add to my sheet. That's a good idea. It's a great resource. I'll do it later. Customer experience CX, maybe CX marketing, customer experience design. That's kind of an interesting word. What is CX debate? I have to look into that. This is an example where I'd want to look into this keyword and understand what it is all about so I can understand if it's still relevant. Like, to me, I look at the results for what is CX debate, and I see a lot of like policy debate stuff. So I think that that's probably a totally different topic. I'm not going to include that keyword. I'm not going to bother. So basically, I go through this process, and as I find keywords that are relevant, like customer experience design and CX customer experience, and what was the other ones? Go back. Oh, what is CX? What is CX? What is CX customer experience? I don't even know what CX in the chat means. I'd have to look at that. I will put CX design. I think that's relevant. I'll definitely put CX strategy. I think that's like a subtopic. But I'm just trying to like mine these for good ideas. Something else that you can, mining. Sorry, I just can't resist. CX versus UX. That's a good subtopic. That would be something that I will include as a heading. Oops. I will include that as a heading, but I won't go into detail. But this is something where I want to make a future article that's just on this in the future. Another way you can check for things is you can, switch around the monthly volume. So you can just check and make sure that you're not missing out on any like super high volume stuff that could potentially help you. There's things like what is communism? I mean, that's not related at all. But UX design, like that general word, UX design, yeah, sure. I'm gonna talk about it. Like, yeah, I'll put that in there. So I make a list. How many is up to you? I'll generally put anywhere between 5 and 20 or 30, but it really matters that it's relevant. That's the only thing. Also, what I'm going to do with these is use them to start giving some structure to my piece. So like, this is the main idea. What is customer experience? So I'm going to make that. That's going to be an H2. That's going to be a heading for me, a main topic. I'm going to probably say that this is an H3. I'm going to say my strategy is an H3. So I'm kind of starting to put together this kind of outline. CX versus UX, I might make that like a breakaway point, like something in a little box or like a little note. But I kind of start thinking about how these main topic ideas fit together to start putting together the structure of my piece. And it's really the bare bones of an outline. Oh, I put these in the wrong area. These are all supporting keywords. So I put them in the supporting keywords. Another thing to do, which I'm going to not do for the sake of time, but inspiration. As you're clicking around, it's a good idea to just kind of use your tools, use Google, use everything to figure out what's ranking, what's successful, and why. Click on stuff that looks interesting and get inspiration from it. What is customer experience? CX. 7 industry experts weigh in. So I would probably, if I like something in this article, I'm going to put it in here. And I'm definitely going to say, I'm going to say the reason why I liked it. And I'm going to say a way that I could do my work better than theirs. So kind of build it as a launch point, like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a good simple graphic. I like that. Actually, I really like that. I want to make this graphic, remake this graphic, but I don't know, like, I bet I can do it better. I don't know how. I have to think on that. So just kind of grabbing ideas. Another thing you should quick do is look at Google's frequently asked questions, and in here, figure out if there's any good ones that you can use as like a topic for your paragraphs. Like, okay, what CX means? That's a little bit weird. I wouldn't use that. It's not grammatically correct. What is CX in design? I don't know what that is. So kind of looking at those, I think I'm going to use what does CX mean in business? It's good basic overview. I'm going to answer that. I can put any links or references that I find along the way for reports or anything. I'll drag in some ideas for graphics or screenshots that will make it useful. So I basically just build this out with all the information I would need to get rolling on my article. And that's really the process of building out a brief. That can take, depends on how in-depth you want to get, but it can take like half an hour, 2 hours, really depends. But for the sake of time, I'm going to move us forward to the homework. Just a minute here, folks. There we go. All righty. So the homework for today and over the weekend is basically do what we did in this session on your own. So then you'll take it one step further next week or over the weekend, and you'll start writing your first draft. So this is the process I suggest. It's like you mine for keywords. After that, you pick a keyword to move forward with. Optional, you can get a second opinion in Mighty Networks. So share your content plan, double check your thinking with someone else from class. Just bounce your idea off of them. Then you set up your brief. You've got the template in Mighty Networks and the example as well. So you set that up, you find your keywords, you basically build out that structure based on the keywords that you know are good keywords. And then I would take a break. I would walk away from it. Even just send your brief to someone from class, like get some feedback on it. Then come back and write your first draft. We did mention before that it's not about word count, so I'm not going to challenge you in any way to get to a certain number of words. It's really more about relevancy and about just moving forward and keeping the creative momentum going. So I think it's, once you start, it's really kind of shocking to learn how much mental or emotional work goes into something. So I think just be good to yourselves, get something on paper, even if it's not perfect or comprehensive, because on Monday, we're going to go over some SEO and some UX checklists to dress it up and go the extra mile. So you'll have that extra time on Monday to revisit it and add stuff as we go. So for now, I would just say, burn the boats and start swimming. So have fun. You can do it. I know you can. If there's any questions, now is a good time for them. I'm happy to hang around and chat. You folks are welcome to leave and get started, but I just want to make sure I'm here answering stuff at the end here. Ben had to leave, by the way. Ben's recording a podcast this morning. Podcast craziness. I think there was still a question from, Elena, we can, if you could post the brief in the group, that'd be awesome. If you could post your draft in the group, that'd be awesome. It'd be good if you could, I don't know if you feel like pairing up or something. It'd be nice if you could get somebody that would be dedicated to your piece and that could go in there and actually, leave some comments and maybe, change a few things, be the editor on someone else's piece. That's really helpful. Someone else that can come in with a fresh brain and look at your piece from an outside perspective. I'd say a draft could be for Alyssa. I don't know. I don't want to give a concrete number. I don't know, 300 words, 1,000 words, somewhere in there, you know. It's really more important that you answer the search intent. As we said before, like to rank on Google, it doesn't need to be long, it just needs to match the search intent. So you don't want to go too far beyond that. You got to remember, like, your title won't change. That little title that shows up in the Google results is always just going to be, you know, what is CX, for example. So even if I do rank for other keywords on there, because my post is long and comprehensive, the person's going to see the title, what is CX? So that really does kind of box you in, because somebody searching for, like, you know, customer experience example, even if I have an example in my post and I'm really comprehensive, would they click on a post that says, what is CX? I don't know. Maybe. Got some in the Q&A. Another question is, did you start with the title of the type of content when deciding on a plan? That's personal preference. I like to start with other stuff, to be honest. I think the title, I'll have a title change generally 4 to 10 times from the beginning of thinking of it to the end. You think you've got a good title and you find a better one, then you find a more competitive one, then you find a more interesting one, and then you change the keyword in it because you find a better keyword. So I would say treat your title as a working title until it's published. And even then, it's part of upgrading your piece. Like, always checking that. Sarah's saying, this is to fulfill the search intent and not to include a CTA. Yeah, for now, just get your thoughts on paper, get the momentum going. We're going to worry about CTAs and a lot of formatting and SEO stuff, like in-depth SEO stuff on Monday. So for now, it's really just about answering that search intent and serving that purpose. That's your foundation. And then the rest of the stuff is almost like little technical proofing tweaks. Not as hard. This is the hard stuff over the weekend. Okay, cool. I think we've got to all the questions, so I'm going to peace out and I'm going to let you folks get started. The template and all that is in Mighty Networks, so you have access to that already, and you'll be receiving invites from me shortly for the Monday session with Stephen. Feel free to share that around with anybody you like. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all your weekends. It might take me a minute to figure out how to end this. To be honest, I don't know how. Please leave. I have no idea how to end this. Ben always does it. Oh, end. I got it. Okay. Bye.